starshine lights my way to bed. Magic rainbows glisten in my head. Just like a child I live in Wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles.
Hi, I'm here again today with another pattern review. Now you might have gathered by now that I'm a huge fan of the Wear Lemonade patterns, and my latest make is another one of those. It is the Fiona Dungarees, which I absolutely love. These were on my Make 9 list, I think I put them on there. So I've been eyeing them up for quite some time and just wanted to get around to making them. This version that I've made was actually a toile. I didn't want to cut into my main fabric straight away because I was a little bit confused with the sizing, and I'd got some scrap denim. Really, it was some denim that I got from pretty much the rubbish bin at Abercan, and there were faults on it, so I did specifically get this denim for making a toile, but I've ended up making them wearable, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. So let me just insert a couple of photos so you can see what this looks like in its full length. It was really difficult to photograph because I don't have much space here in my little photo corner. So yeah, I'll give you an idea of what they look like, so I'll just drop those in now. Okay, so I absolutely love how retro they are, and my favourite bit to them is the back. But before I tell you more about my versions, my first version, let me just give you a tour around the PDF pattern so you know exactly what this pattern is like. So I'll just head over to the computer and do a screen recording for you now. So just to show you the PDF pattern, so it is a easy peasy beginner level pattern, and it varies from size 34 to 46. As before, the instructions are in French but also in English, and you need 2.8 meters, I think that says, of 140 width fabric, or 3 meters of 110, and it gives you some ideas of the fabrics you can use. Gives you some cutting advice, and then it has step-by-step instructions where you've got numbered instructions, and then you just need to look at the corresponding image that goes along with that, so you can see what you need to do in that step. The only tricky bit really is the zip insertion, and there are two different ways in which you can insert the zip, and there's two different pattern pieces depending on whether you're using the easy method or the more advanced method, and the instructions do revert you to a Wear Lemonade video for a different trouser pattern if you're using the advanced instructions, and a little bit later in this video I will just show you very quickly where that video is. And that is it. That is this pattern. Okay, so as I said a little while back, I did get a little bit confused with the sizing on this pattern, which is quite unusual because normally I find all my measurements, my bust, waist and hips, tend to fit in one size on Wear Lemonade, but on these I found that my hips fitted into the smallest size, and my waist measurement fitted into the third size. So yeah, I was a little bit concerned over whether that was right or not, but what I did initially was just grade the pattern from the third size on the waist, and then I graded it in so it went to the smaller size on the hips. But then when I tried them on, they were huge at the waist, and I did need to take them in. So all I did is I used my hip curve just to take them in at the waist and kind of grade them in to meet the hips, I'll see if I've got a photograph. If I can find one, I will just insert it, because I did add one to my Instagram stories. And then what I've done is I've cut it down to the smallest size at the waist as well for my second version. So I'm not quite sure why it was a little bit out on this pattern, but just bear that in mind if you're going to make them yourself. So let me just tell you a little bit more about these. So what I really like about them is the retro shape. So they're very 1970s. So you've got your bib at the front. But what I really like is you've got the waistband, which goes all the way around to centre back. So whereas a lot of dungarees have button closures down the side here, what that does then is give you less shape around the waistline. And the way that these actually fasten, let's see if that's focusing. They actually fasten with a centre back zip, which runs there. And then the waistband fastens in the centre back. Now I actually made a mistake with the waistband. What it's actually got is a longer piece which is supposed to overlap on the outside of the dungarees, so you can add a button or something, but I put it on excuse me, back to front, so the longer piece is actually sitting inside the dungarees. But rather than unpicking it, what I did is just added a little silver clasp, which I think matches really well with the bib and brace set as well. I'll just come in a bit closer to see if I can show you the closures. Okay, so what I have got is, I think it's hemline, bib and brace, which is like a denim jeans button that you hammer on, and then the buckle which attaches to your straps. I have also used proper top stitch thread to add top stitching around there and around the pocket. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. And on the back pockets as well. I don't know if I can get up high enough to show you. I think you can just about see. I think it's really important to use the proper top stitch thread, or otherwise you don't get that same effect as you do with jeans. So what is really good with these as well is the way that they are shaped with the zip at the centre back. I read in the instructions that it gives you a bit of a bum lift, and I was like, nah, that's not going to work, but actually it does. I'm not quite sure how it works, whether it's the braces kind of pulling up and with having the zip in the centre, but it does, it gives you a really nice shape around the bum as well, which is always a bonus. Now, as I said at the beginning, the denim that I used was pretty much out of the rubbish bin, but I loved these when I'd sewed them up and didn't want to have to kind of throw them away and just kind of use them as a twirl in the true sense of the word. So what I decided to try was to dye them to see if that would cover up the faults. The faults were like, it had funny creases in the denim which were white, and the colour of the denim wasn't great either. It was like a bit of a mucky, greyy, blacky type colour, which just didn't look that nice. So I used a Dylon blue denim jeans dye, and they've worked out absolutely perfectly. So it seems to have given the denim a little bit more structure. The colour is great, it's worked out fine, and it has covered up all the faults in the fabric as well. So yay, it's worked out as a wearable toile, which I absolutely love when that happens. I will just show you the fabric of the actual pair that I am making up. They are totally different to the denim version. They're very 1970s. So this is some fabric that I am testing for Minerva Crafts. I've got the trousers kind of basted together, so just to show you, it's this like a mint green with greys, burgundies, browns, flowers in. So I thought that this would be great because it will work in any season because of the colours that are in there. It does have some stretch to it, and it is quite heavy weight, so I will be doing a review of this fabric in a different post, but just to kind of show you the next version, which I'm part way through making. Can't wait to see how they turn out. So, final thing that I am just going to do is take these off and video them whilst they're hanging up, just so I can show you kind of what the hem is like, etc., because I just haven't got enough room in this area here to show you in full length. So I will go off and do that now. So looking at this close up, so I have got a hemline, bib and brace set inserted as the closure. And I have used the top stitch thread around the bib and the pockets, as you can see, and then you've got the waistband. Decided not to top stitch the waistband because I didn't want it to stand out too much. So it is quite a wide leg trouser, which gives it that 1970s style. And they've got a deep hem at the bottom of the leg, which again I've top stitched with the top stitch thread. And looking at the back, I've top stitched the straps, as you can see, and then I've added the fancy closure. There's the concealed centre back zip, and the pockets I have also top stitched with the denim thread. One other thing that I just needed to tell you about this pattern is the zip. So that is the only tricky thing that there was to make these. Everything else was really straightforward. And there are two lots of instructions that you can use to make the zip. You've got an easy version or you've got an advanced version. So I followed the advanced version, and what it does is it directs you to a different Wear Lemonade pattern. I think it was called the Julietta pants, and I just followed the Wear Lemonade video, which is on YouTube, to tell me how to install that zip, and I'm really pleased with how that did install. It's really clean and looks really professional. So here's the advanced instructions. So if you just go to YouTube and put in the search bar Wear Lemonade Julietta, then you can see it does guide you through step by step how to insert this zip. I have sped it up here so it is easier to follow than what it appears, but it does take you through every step, and I found it quite easy to follow. So that's it. I just wanted to tell you all about my dungarees, which I absolutely love and will be wearing lots and lots, I am sure. Thank you for stopping by. If you've got any questions at all about this pattern or making them up, then do ask them in the comments below, or otherwise just let me know what you think. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you very soon. Bye.
Just like a child, I live in wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles used to hold me down. Now my feet don't even reach the ground. Just like a prisoner